Welcome to the Daily Grind. I'm one half of the team. Mark, Luke, what's up, man?
I'm the other half of the team. I'm the dancing half. I'm good, brother. How are you?
I am better. We missed a show yesterday because we both got bogged down with our real jobs. Believe it or not, these are not our real jobs. I know that surprises literally everyone out there, but this is not our real job. If it were, we would probably not have. They would not pay us to do this. But I own the company, so I can do whatever I want.
Damn right.
Yeah, exactly. So sorry we missed the show yesterday. We did get work, but we got a great show for you guys today. Grizzlies fell to the Timberwolves last night. We'll talk about in the first segment. Second segment, if you missed the announcement, if you're living under a rock, which you probably may have missed, this is a very niche rock probably. It's not like a John Morant news, but we did announce at Bluff City Media we have a new show, the $2 Sports Show with Rusty and Drew. Rusty's going to join us in the second segment, and then we'll be with him all the way through the end of the show. He'll help us look ahead to the weekend as well. The Grizzlies play on Saturday.
Yeah,
that's
Chicago.
Right. He probably knows more than we do. Again, this show is only because I own the company, so that's why we get to do this. Let's get into it. The Grizzlies lose to the Timberwolves after, honestly, like I thought that it was going to be. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Let me just say this. What I don't appreciate is the Grizzlies toying with my fucking emotions right now. I'm a very sensitive soul. I've been in the house for a week. I haven't left this house. The snow. I have 3 children. I just wanted to win. No, they did play almost. They played with all of us. They toyed with our hearts last night.
Yeah, they did.
They looked like they were competitive for much of the game. And then the
fourth
quarter happened. 3 quarters happened. The fourth quarter happened, and that was all she wrote. Your thoughts on the game last night? Let's start there.
So, I'm with you, man. It's like for a game that I fully expected to lose. To be honest, the fact that we were in it for 3 quarters really kind of was an emotional roller coaster. And it's like you said, man, being inside in this icicle storm for 5 days, it's kind of any sort of hope would be good. And there was hope, like Jaren playing the way he was, Nardo playing the way he did. There were things to like in the game for sure, but it's almost more of a bummer to see us fight so hard, like fight for 3 effing quarters, like to be like in it, and then just to see Ant just own the second half. And like for as much as they didn't have an answer for Jaren, it was kind of hard when Ant turned it on for us to do much of anything against them.
Yeah. I will say this. That was the first game I thought I've seen that Vince Williams struggled to guard someone. Not struggled. I think he did a good job. But Anthony Edwards, I think he's just so good. I mean, obviously, that's an obvious statement. But that's the first game I've really seen that even with Vince Williams on him, the guy he was guarding still got whatever he wanted. And again, part of that is because they were doing a really good job screening him off the ball, like screening him out of the play. Screening Vince Williams out of the play. And the Grizzlies really did nothing schematically wise. They didn't change anything. They're like, you know what? It's probably okay. Yeah, it's probably cool for him to get lots of points. I think there was one play where they bought a weak side double with Santi, one play, and then that was it. And they never did it again. So it was weird. Again, that was maybe the one time I remember Vince Williams, I think I would say struggle, but the person he was guarding did whatever they wanted. Again, partly was that he had no help and he was getting screened out of the play all the time. And part of that is just Anthony Edwards is really good at basketball, man. Like, dude threw like threw it off the backboard to himself last night in the middle of traffic. That was pretty dope. I hate the Timberwolves. That was pretty dope.
He's one of those dudes where it's like, God damn, he's fun to watch. Like he's just a dope. He plays with that. And one reason why he plays with the same fearlessness that you and I were talking about Vince playing with. I think that's also a reason that Vince kind of struggled, is because he's got that same kind of crazy, like, man, come on, motherfucker. Like, come at me. I can take this. Like Vince kind of plays with, like I love watching Ant play.
Yeah. I mean, it was Vince needed help. I mean,
yes, he did.
As much as the Grizzlies were hell bent on and Vince solely guarding Anthony Edwards, he needed help last night. And so the Grizzlies did a little, not enough, not soon enough. I mean, they didn't do anything really to change their defense on Anthony Edwards. The other part of the game, Jaren was unstoppable. Should have had 50. Should have had 50. Had 36 in 27 minutes. That's as efficient as you can get, my guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will. I don't. We love Taylor Jenkins on the show, and I'm not going to blame. I'm not a coach blamer, but I do lay this. I lay most of this blame at Taylor Jenkins' feet. Fouling out your own player is so stupid. Can we please stop? Because guess Taylor Jenkins finished with 2 challenges, and Jaren Jackson finished with 5 fouls. I don't understand the significance of wanting to foul out your own player, and he set the entire third, or played 2 minutes in the third quarter and 1 minute right at the fourth before he fouled out. Let's just let him play. If he fouls out, what happens if he fouls out? You still lose the game? Guess what? You lost the game anyway, and he finished with 5 fouls. So whatever you were trying to accomplish didn't work. And the two challenges Jenkins ended up, there were 2 fouls on Taylor, or on Jaren. They should have challenged. That one off, he was just driving down lane and the guy was like next to him. That's a challenge. That's an easy challenge. I mean, especially with Jaren, that was his like 5th foul. That was the 5th foul on him.
You got to challenge that.
You have to challenge that at this point. You can't win without him. I laid that at Taylor Jenkins' feet, and then the lineup to start the fourth quarter was the most bizarre thing of it. You already knew that shit didn't work. You're like, let's give it one more go. I don't know. GG Jackson and
Zaire
are only minus 50 together. Work to do.
So
to be that bad in an NBA game, minus 50. I haven't seen that in a long time.
No,
that's so bad.
That's the closest thing that I've seen him come to tanking a game. I don't want to accuse anybody of tanking, but like, you can't play those two dudes together. You cannot play those two guys together. It's like, what are you doing? What are we doing?
That's what Nate said to me on Twitter last night. He's like, the tank balls. I don't think that's true, because if it were true, he'd have played Jaren Jackson Jr. and let him foul out.
That's true.
Because everything we know about Taylor is that if he's wanting to win the game, he's protecting Jaren at all costs against himself and other people. So like, I do understand that point of view, but that's not Taylor. That was just him being dumb. That was just like Taylor being Taylor and having weird lineups. That's all that is. Yeah, I don't know, man. I just that feel like the Wolves made it a winnable game, right? They were not playing well. And they had literally no answer for Jaren. I think he plays more. I think he plays 38 minutes, and I think that's a different game. That's just me. I don't know.
It was very, I mean, to me, it boded well that, like, with all the size that they have, Jaren was getting all that he wanted. That was a good sign. Like, it's an incredible sign. And it's like you said, and then we just we purposefully foul him out. It's like, I don't know.
I just love that he dunked on Rudy Gobert twice. I hate that dude. Rudy Gobert sucks, man. COVID spreader, like that dude, like
COVID spreader. He started COVID.
Man, he started COVID. Like that dude sucks so bad. He slapped Santi in the face twice, or Santi in the face and slapped Luke in the face. Like this dude is he's not soft like Cap, but he's a bitch.
He is a bitch. There's a difference.
Anyway,
often being a bitch.
I hate the Wolves more and more these days. They are a very hateable team because of Rudy and Cat. I love Mike. I love Anthony Edwards. Love to watch them play, but Rudy and Cat make them a very hateable team.
For a team that has so many dudes that I like you said, Mike, Ant, Shlomo, like for so many dudes that I like, it's like the hatred for those other two outweighs the love for the other guys.
1000%. 1000%. Last thing I'll touch on before we get to break, I want to get Rusty in sooner than later, because we'll talk about this game with them too. GG Jackson looked like a two-way player.
Yeah, he did.
And this is why we were on the show, whatever it was, Tuesday, cautioning people about GG Jackson. He looked like a two-way player that was over his head. And to be clear, that's okay. It's his third game. Like, totally makes a total sense, right? Like it makes sense. His third game in the NBA might look like that, but he's got a long way to go.
Yeah.
He's got a long way to go. And his defense is what we looked at last night. And it was not good. I would almost venture to say non-existent.
The only person that was more non-existent might be another player that played with him, a certain Zaire.
Look, playing Zaire, Jacob Gilliard, and Gigi Jackson together, it was the worst recipe. I mean, it was awful. It was so bad. They're
like
so bad.
Like a power drill to your temple or something.
Naz Reid scored 13 points in like 4 minutes on those dude. I mean, Naz Reid's a great player, but like,
that's
come
so
on.
Yeah, you're not
He's
supposed
not
to be
that good.
No, he's not.
All right, let's take a quick break. On the other side of the break, we're going to have Rusty from our newest show on Blessed Media, $2 Sports Show. We'll get him coming back. We'll talk with him about this game. We'll talk about their show. We'll also, our third segment, be with him, and we'll look ahead to the weekend as well. We will be right back.
Not just the level of individual talent that he plays with, but it's also the level of his mind. We haven't gotten cross-court open shot this year. Right. We haven't seen that pass a lot. Number one, you got to respect him going to the basket. There's a roller. I got to watch the roller. He has the mind to be able to say, I see all of that, but now I see this guy over here. I'm going to get him this open shot. How shifty he is to always be going forward. It's usually side to side.
Yeah.
His dribble moves are side to side, but going forward.
Right.
Which is very hard to defend. I just want to get you, as many times can I get you to do this? But for him, it's not here. It is here, which is what are his moves to get down the floor. It's awkward for a defender to try to catch a cadence. You dribble. So now what I do is now when you go put that ball down, I'm going for it. But with him, it's hard for my cadence. But what's my cadence for you? I don't know what it is.
Tune in to the Anthony Sane Show Wednesdays and Fridays at 12 p.m. weekly on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Who do you need to step it up? Outside of David Jones, I think David Jones is David Jones.
I don't think you need him to step it up because he's been performing.
Yeah, like he's David Jones. Like outside of him, he's fine.
I think Quinterly needs to play better.
In what way? Like, I mean, he's facilitating the ball well. I mean, what do you like? I don't.
2 at 12 from the field's not cutting it.
It's not great. It's not great.
And I don't need a runner 3 from the top of the key with 3.5 seconds left.
Is Virginia the game where Jordan Brown is going to cook? Those dudes aren't looking to run the ball.
Cook what? Dude, I thought he was going to have a freaking night. He came out with that fresh cut, lined up. And then literally within the first 15 seconds, missed a wide open layup.
Yeah.
And then picked up 2 fouls right away.
I feel real lied to because I thought we were getting a 20 and 10 guy.
Didn't think it did anything for you.
Well,
I think we all thought we were getting a 20 and 10 guy. And we are getting that in David Jones.
I'm not even getting 20 or 10 minutes out of the guy.
Tune in to Tigers Untapped with TJ Willis and Trey Lasley every Wednesday at 3 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Oh no! Welcome back to the show. I forgot to take that off. Grab it off. My bad, guys. My bad. I was sitting here like watching that promo the whole time of Tigers Untapped, which was funny, by the way. Those guys are great. Which leads us to our shameless promotion time. If you're not a Bluff City Media Insider, make sure you go and do so. It's $5 a month to get access to our Discord as well as all of our awesome shows. If you can't do that, just subscribe to the YouTube channel. Look at shows like you saw promos for. Anthony Sane coming on every week. You got Tigers Untapped. You got our newest show, the $2 Sports Show. Rusty with us. We'll talk to him in just a second. You got this show. You got Grizz 901. You got our newest post-game show, Tigers Live with Francis Carlota. Lots of different stuff. Lots of shows. One for everybody. So go subscribe to the YouTube channel. I promise it will be worth it. Rusty, my man, what's going on?
What's up, fellas? How we doing? I appreciate y'all having me on this morning. It was a late night last night watching that game for us old men, but thanks for having me on for sure.
Yeah, I was very tired. Yeah, I was very tired.
Yeah, and then I stayed up to watch my esteemed, infamous colleague, Drew Gann, a.k.a. Uncle Buck, on the Grizz 901 podcast after, so we were up kind of late watching that, so definitely dragging in with a big cup of coffee this morning.
You and me both, brother. You and me both. Yeah, I stayed up to watch the post-game show too. And then I realized it was like midnight, and I was like, I cannot do this anymore. Shout out to those guys.
Whew.
I hope it goes well for them, but I cannot do this anymore.
We ain't 18 anymore, boys.
Hell no.
No, we are not. Rusty, look, we appreciate you coming on the show. Again, if you've missed it, Rusty and Drew, the $2 Sports Show, they're our newest addition to the Bluff City Media family. Their show will be dropping every Friday. So starting today, 3:00 every Friday is when their show will drop on our YouTube channel. They recorded it last night. I listened to some of it last night. I've already went back and watched a little bit of it, so they don't know that, but I did. It's a great show as always. Rusty, why don't you tell us about how do you even know Drew?
Yeah, so I don't claim this or claim him very often, but here we go. So Drew and I kind of grew up in similar circles. I'm about 5 years older than him. He loves to act like it's like 50, but anyway, I'm a little bit older than him. We were in some similar circles in church and in school and whatnot. And then I left and went off and pursued bigger things in our little small town. But when I moved back about 10 years ago, wow, we kind of reconnected and became friends. And just one of those things like, we really only connected over the Grizz, but that was enough for us to be friends because we literally disagree on every other sporting team that we root for. We are absolutely like bitter rivals and everything. But yeah, so we just hit it off and been fast friends ever since. Been through some life stuff together, and I give him crap all the time. But Drew's a good dude and one you want in your corner for sure.
That's awesome. I also have a best friend who is like 5 years older than me, and so I did the same thing Drew does. Every time there's something like, man, woo, this guy must. He must need it because he's so old.
He loves.
He also he reacts the same way you do.
Yeah, he loves to tell a story of when I was a kid in diapers, my dad would hold me up at the fence to watch Rusty play high school football. I'm like, dude, you're in the 8th grade, man. You probably
he told that story last night. He told that story last night on the air.
Yes,
shout out him.
That's awesome.
That's fantastic. Yeah, so let's before we talk about the game last night, tell us a little bit about the $2 Sports Show, what we can expect from this show, what people tuning in for, what they're going to be looking for when you guys talk about every Friday at 3:00.
Yeah, for sure. So it really started about a year ago with he and I just having, weekly or biweekly chats about sports anyway. We're big podcast and sports news guys. And, I was listening to a podcast and I thought, Drew and I could do this. And so I called him one morning on the way to work. I was like, hey, man, like, what do you think about a podcast? And initially he was like, man, but his wife, Haley, who is the first lady of the $2 Sports Show, has been kind of hyping him up to do one for a while. So we decided to give it a shot. And it honestly started as a way for us to stay in touch, for some general tomfoolery, and really to talk about our fantasy football league, the League of Avengers, which we will talk about when the time comes. Myself and my co-host are the back-to-back champs. I was last year, he was this year, so we run that league. Shout out those boys. But yeah, so it just kind of evolved into Grizzly Talk because again, that's the one team we connect on. We're both SEC football junkies. We're big SEC baseball guys. Mark, I know you tuned in for that little portion, left this little comment of, look, I hate baseball. Good luck, boys. But we will do some college baseball content. And then we also, like, our first segment is always just like life stuff because we're friends. We go through life. We talk about things that we like, that we don't like, in our best and beef sections. So even if you don't love sports, tune into that part and then stick around and learn about the Grizz and some SEC sports. But yeah, it's a good time for an hour just to kind of unplug for us, be creative, and hopefully y'all can get some laughs out of it.
Who was your quarterback? You mind me asking in your fantasy league?
So this past RIP Kirk Cousins Achilles, I had Kirk Cousins. I was actually the best team in the regular season. And I was just cooking until Kirk Cousins got hurt. And then I had to piece it together with Baker and Mayfield and Jordan Love. And it never failed. I would start Jordan Love and Baker would cook on the bench. So I'm like, all right, let's put Baker in. And then Jordan Love would cook on the bench. So it was a struggle to the finish. And then I got bounced in the first round.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I do have a couple follow-up questions about the football league. Is it a redraft or a dynasty?
It's redraft every year. We don't do any dynasty.
No further questions. Real players play dynasty only. No further
Listen, we've talked about it. We've talked about that. We do play. So we are the League of Avengers. So our team names have to be either Marvel comic or DC Universe themed, and we play for the Stan Lee Cup. And so it's a trophy that we pass around. You get your name on it. I'm on there last year. Fat Drunk Thor will always be the 2022 champs.
Yes.
Drew this year, he won it with Waddle Vision, and so that trophy gets passed around. It came to me to South Carolina. It's back at Drew's house in Ripley. You can see it on our podcast weekly, but there's been some beverages consumed out of it because, we've talked about this on the previous show, right? Like a trophy's worth is how you can consume beverages out of it, right? Like that's why the Stanley Cup is the GOAT, is the GOAT trophy. The World Series, awful. It can't hold any liquid. But the Stanley Cup, fantastic. So we had to create one like that.
That's awesome. I actually I play in a league with Sean Coleman. Actually, him and I have been in a league together for a long time. It's a dynasty league. We have about 45 roster spots. We play full defense, full offense. It is very difficult. It's the only one I can pay attention to. It's also a lot of money we play. I mean, it's the only thing I tried to play in a couple of the leagues this year, and I can't focus on that many things at once. And trying to figure out who my third defensive back is the worst thing ever. I feel like so it's not fun, but it is also simultaneously extremely fun. So that's gonna be awesome. I can't wait to hear more about we had a big fantasy football league this year at Biloxi Media. You guys can get it in next year. Yeah. It was 56 teams. So it was.
I was
divisions. It was bad. It was quite the league. Sure. That had across all of Biloxi Media. It was pretty fun though. To get
it was fun.
Through you had to get through your divisional playoffs and then another set of playoffs as well. So it was,
absolutely.
Look to the game last night. What are your thoughts on the game last night? We've already given our thoughts in the first segment, Rusty. We'll let you give out yours for the Grizzlies Timberwolves. Grizzlies fought the Timberwolves last night.
Yeah, so first and foremost, I got to give credit where credit's due. Ant is him, man. Watching that dude play basketball is electric. Like we kind of put the clamps on him in the first half. I think he had like 2 or 4 at halftime, and then a 14-point third quarter, and just all gas, no breaks from there. And that dunk at the end of the game, just to kind of seal it, was like, sometimes you just got to tip your hat that some guy is just better than you. And y'all were talking about Vince earlier. Vince is still learning and growing. We're hyping him up as the grandson and like the second coming of TA, and he might still be that. But last night he just played a guy that was just better than him, off the dribble, off the ball. Credit where credit's due. I tell you too, like it always kills me, and I tweeted this out last night. Like I like to watch Mike Conley succeed, except when he plays Memphis, and he always cooks us and has a big game. And so I'm like, Captain, oh my captain, calm down. Right? But yeah, man, it was fun, and it was another night that y'all were talking about COVID, boy, to watch Jaren Jackson Jr. just cook Rudy Gobert. He is one big that he consistently has success against, and Gobert's out there doing his best Rick James impersonation, just walking around giving 5 fingers to the face to everybody and not getting a single call. And Jaren was still cooking him, backing him down, dunking on his head. Just living the American dream on the Frenchman last night. And so it was fun to watch Jaren again take over. The foul trouble, we're getting far enough in our career that like it's concerning, right? I love Tripp. I'm a huge Tripp fan, but the fouls are frustrating. And then it puts Taylor Jenkins in an awkward spot where he has to run out a G League lot roster last night, right? Like there were some interesting combinations, and we all have our opinions about Taylor Jenkins. I know this is a pro Coach Jenkins podcast, so I'll be real careful with what I say. Because I like Taylor a lot. I do. I just question some of his schemes and rotations and guys that he puts out there. And it doesn't help when Tripp's got 4 or 5 fouls, right? But we needed him last night. I wish he'd have ran him a little bit more in the fourth quarter. Like just put him out there and let him go. And if he fouls out, like it is what it is. He's getting buckets on Gobert, so let him run. You talk about GG, he is a two-way player. GG is what he is right now. Drew and I talked about this on our show last night, not to give too much away. We talk about GG and the small sample size that we have. It's still a great sample size, right? I mean, the kid is unbelievably talented, but very, very raw. I mean, he's 19. He can barely buy tobacco, can't buy booze. And so, like, he's got a lot of growth coming, and excited to see where that goes. But, again, he's a 19-year-old kid, right? I still believe he could be a consistent producer for us in the future. It's just we're going to have nights like this, right, with growing pains. And then lastly, I hope Zaire is Zaire. He'd had a few games where he was putting up some good numbers for that trade fodder, and that's all I want, right? Like, I don't want him to be this great basketball player so we keep him. Like, these are audition tapes, and last night is one that hopefully we can kind of put on the back burner out of the way, and we can bring up the last couple of games. And so he's consistently better with John Morant, but we can't run out lineups every time with John and Z on the court. They can't always be out there together. So hopefully he'll bounce back this weekend against Chicago in an audition tape for maybe a team that we could possibly pull a trade off with to get some big help, maybe. I don't know. But all in all, the T-Wolves are what they are. They're the number 1 seed in the West. We gave them fits for 3.75 quarters last night with the G League roster. So, shout out to the boys. They fought hard, but just Ant is him right now.
Yeah, lots of good points, and you're right. I mean, it was a game. You know, again, the only issue I had was what I said in the first segment. I mean, it was just I think it was a winnable game, and that was, you know, if we're gonna tank, great, then roll out every stop playing Jaren and roll out every, you know, get him hurt, right, and then sit him, and then let's go from there. But if we want to be competitive, then do competitive things, right? Mm-hmm. Don't sit your best free. Actually, say that again. I got it from something from Statty Sean that I put up, scoring 30 plus points last year. This is in fouling wise. He's 6 times, or excuse me, 30 plus games, 6 times in 63 games, 7 times in 39 games already this year. That's how good he's scoring this year. That's how much of an improvement. Yeah. I think that's a caveat. Part of that is there's no one else to score. like I love Sean and I love this stat, but part of that is like no one else. There isn't anyone else. So you're going to see that a lot this year, because especially the rest of the year, because there is no one else besides him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I shout out Sean Coleman, our resident statistician of Grizzlies Twitter and at Bluff City Media. But yeah, I mean, you know, there's just I think that Taylor did some things that don't make a lot of sense and didn't help you win. Yes, you know, I think especially schematically and lineup wise, when I think you have data on those lineups where they don't work, right? Like you got blasted in the first half, and like maybe we don't do that again. And he's like, I just got the itch to give it like one more time. You know, yeah. I think that was the biggest thing that killed us. You know, I can actually look past the Jaren stuff. Mm-hmm. But I can't look past the lineup stuff when you knew that didn't work. So yeah. Let's take another quick break. We'll be right back on the other side of this. We're going to talk looking ahead to the weekend. Rusty will stick with us at the break, and we will be right back.
I'm just big on being able to vocalize what someone's role is. I always thought my best coaches were the people that let me know exactly what you expect from me. Now I might not like it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Right. But if you come to me man to man to say, this is how we think we're gonna play you. Bang, 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 and hopefully everybody understand. I'm not saying that this has not been done with this team. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying from my experience, we all have egos when we get to this game. Right. All of us, to the last person on the bench, you got an ego, but all of us can't be the man. Yeah, you got to be able to say, okay, he's the man, but what do I do and what can I do to help us be good? And if it's vocalized to you, then you know exactly what. And if I'm out there doing it, and now I'm not getting the result from you, now we got to sit down and have another conversation. Mm-hmm. But as long as it is told to you, this is what we expect from you, this is how we want you to play, then I feel like, again, keeping this logo. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Tune in to The Anthony Sane Show, Wednesdays and Fridays at 12 p.m. weekly on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel. All right, Christian.
Yes.
You are Penny Hardaway.
I'm not.
Yes, you are.
Okay.
Today, you're going to play act, okay? Gabe, because you're a Jordan Brown apologist, you're going to be Jordan Brown.
I'm a Jordan Brown apologist. Okay. I'll take that.
Y'all are sitting across the room from each other.
I said, don't tweet him hate. And he's like, you're an apologist. Like, good God. But either way, continue. We're in a room together.
Why did things break down?
Jordan, we brought you in this year to be the centerpiece of our offense. You came in out of shape. Let's call it what it is. Call a spade a spade. We play fast. Told you this when we were recruiting you. We play fast. One of the fastest paces in the country. You have to be able to get up and down the floor. You have failed at that.
Oh, well, I'm leaving. So
cool. Tune in to On the Bluff with Christian Fowler and Gabe Kuhn every Tuesday at 12 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Welcome back to the Daily Grind, the Daily Memphis Grizzlies Sports Show right here every day on Bluff City Media at 9 a.m. every weekday. We got Rusty with us on the Two Buck Sports Show. We talked about the failure of winning that game last night. Let's look ahead to the weekend.
A horde.
Yeah. I don't even know what I was trying to say there. Jeez.
Ahoy.
Look, I took a day. Look, I took it there. The snow is getting to me. I have not left this house in 5 days. I hate it here.
Listen, Mark, you fit in well on the 2 Buck Sports Show. We get Marble Mouth all the time, so you'd fit in just fine.
I would say it's because I'm drinking, but it's 9. It's not. But I guess I could be. It's just Friday.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, the Grizzlies take on the Bulls on tomorrow. The Bulls are exactly mediocre. They are 15th in the defensive rating, 22nd in offensive rating. Before I let you give your thoughts, here's a couple of stats you might want to know about the Bulls. As good of a rebounding as Andre Drummond is, actually they are 18th in the league in total rebounds per game. They are very, very bad at letting in 3-pointers. They are almost dead last in the amount of 3-pointers that they let the opponent's team shoot. And they are almost dead last in that percentage. They are middle of the road in percentage of that. And they do not take a lot of threes themselves. They are 22nd in 3-point attempts in the league. Everything else they do, pretty much average, exactly average. I'll go with both you guys, Luke first, and then Rusty. What are your thoughts on the game this weekend in Chicago? Can they get a win? Doesn't matter. I mean, it does not matter if they win now at this point, but can they get one?
Doesn't matter is so sad.
Well, again,
yes.
it does not matter. The fact it does not matter.
No, it does not. I think they can still get a dub. That's interesting that you because the first thing that my head went to when Rusty mentioned get some help via trade, and when you mentioned Drummond, I'm just thinking about rebound help. I'm thinking about trying to trade for Drummond. As much as this is an audition tape for some of our guys, I'm viewing this as I think the Bulls. There's several dudes on that roster that I would like between Drummond and Caruso that I think would help this guy, that help us, that are also attainable. But granted, it's like you said, does it matter this year? Like, do we go for these dudes? And I mean, I would still try to get them. It's gonna depend. I don't know. Is Caruso still shooting lights out? I was going to look at how he's doing in 3-point.
He is shooting 49% from the field, 41% from 3.
So it's dropped down a bit, but I mean,
42%. 42% from 3 is pretty good.
Pretty good.
If I do say so myself. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, I would like if we know we're going to come out and fight. We're not laying over for any of these games. We've seen that. I just don't know if TJ coaches the way that he did last night. I mean, there's nobody on the Bulls that will kill us the way Ant did. Nobody. Kobe White ain't going to go out there and score 28 points and a half. No shade to Kobe White, but if we can play like we did last night, I think we could get the dub.
Yeah, I mean, you nailed it. Absolutely, man. It's an audition tape for a lot of guys. Another name that's come up, Vucevic, aka Vucci Mane, might fit in really well in Beale Street Blue. Mm-hmm. Are these guys we could get at the trade line? Yeah, probably. I don't know that Chicago is going to be as big of a seller as people think, because right now they're 9th in the East. Yes, they are the world's okayest basketball team, but they're in the play-in game right now. And playoff teams typically aren't sellers. They might, we'll see how it comes over the next couple of weeks, but maybe these are guys you can get a little bit cheaper in the offseason, closer to the draft, right? That we can start, producing, preparing for the next couple of years. But a lineup of Marcus Smart, Vince, Caruso, and Tripp sounds gnarly, right?
Yeah.
Good luck breaking 60, much less 55. But yeah, I mean, the Bulls are a grindy, a scrappy team. They get in the mud. They're not a great team. I was a little surprised some of the rebound numbers, given some of the bigs that they have. But they're a team that's just like us. They're going to body you. They got some big guys. They're going to kind of bully you down low. This will be a very ugly, low-scoring game. Much like the grit and grind era, we just get in the mud and just play some old street basketball, right? One thing that kind of plays in our favor, Zach LaVine is nursing an ankle injury. He's kind of day-to-day, going to be a game-time decision. The Bulls are obviously a lot better when he plays. So, no offense, speedy recovery, but not for tomorrow, right? So, and then Kobe White, you mentioned him, and he has been on an absolute friggin' tear. And so, yeah, he ain't Ant, but he is in fuego right now. And so watching him cook, hopefully he'll cool off a little bit with this cold front coming through. Maybe that'll help us. But again, this is a very winnable game. We almost went to the number 1 seed in the West and won last night. So there's no reason we can't fly to Chicago on this whirlwind road trip that we're on and get a win. I think it's a very attainable game. It's one that we need to win for some momentum, given our schedule coming up is kind of kind of tough. And I've been following along Anthony saying from our network, he keeps doing these like the 5-game splits. I'm sure y'all seen that, right? Like just taking it 5 games at a time with a young team. Dave Ramsey always says the best way to eat elephant is 1 bite at a time. And our bites right now are like those 5-game splits. And so, start a new 5-game streak right here. Go to Chicago, get a win on a team that you're comparable with, and get some momentum back. So, yeah, I look for us to hopefully get a win in a game that's very, very winnable for us.
Yeah, I mean, Vucevic and Drummond are the only real rebounders. So, I mean, obviously, Nikola Vucevic is averaging over 10.5 rebounds a game. And Drummond's averaging 8.5 rebounds a game, but they don't play together. Everybody else on the court doesn't really rebound that well. And so that's really why they struggle. I will be interested to see what the Grizzlies do with a really big like Nikola Vucevic. They don't obviously have anybody that can match up with him right now. I mean, I'll be curious to see exactly what they do. The one thing here's what I wish from Taylor Jenkins. I just wish he would settle on a starting lineup and settle on a rotation. And I think everybody, even the players, would secretly wish that. That's what players like the most in any level is consistency. Knowing, like, I know I'm going to go in at, around the 6-minute mark of the first quarter, and I'm going to come out around the 3-minute mark of the second quarter. I know my minutes. And I know that with he's searching for stuff sometimes, and I get that part of it. But you kind of know what you have now. I think last night's starting lineup is probably your best starting lineup in terms of either that or if you want to start Zaire and try to hide him on the starters. Just to steal minutes from other people, you could try to do that because with the starters, I think you can maybe hide him. But I do think last night with John Contra is probably your survival players. I think those might be the best players to start with. Unfortunately, as crappy as that sounds, that might be your best one. I wish he would settle on a starting lineup and settle on a rotation.
And I hope that he doesn't run out Big Body Roddy as much as I love that guy at the 5 on Saturday because he will get absolutely murdered by both of those bigs. 6'4", 5 is not going to work Saturday night. So TJ, if you're listening, man, like keep him at the 4, don't put him at 5.
Nope.
Yeah, and TJ does listen to the show. He's texting me a couple times a day. He is upset about the way we're talking about him. No, just kidding. Yeah, I mean, David Roddy played well last night. We didn't mention him, but he played well last night. But yeah, he's obviously limited in size. It's just like our friend baby Jake, baby Jacob Billiard. He's so tiny, he's so cute, but he is limited by his size, right? Like, it's not going to work. And so, and that's why you didn't see a lot of Jake Billiard last night. They will switch that dude on to they would switch that dude on to everybody, and he will get killed. Have fun guarding Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan, Jake Gillard. Like that ain't gonna work. So
no.
That's a recipe for a highlight tape.
Yeah. So, normally in these previews, we kind of go through what the Grizzlies should do to win these games. We've kind of stopped doing that because it's like if people make shots and they might win. The only recipe to win is like Jaren's got to score 30. Luke's got to go 4 from 5 again, 5 from 6. And then you got to hopefully you get something from Vince or GD, someone else, and that's kind of the unfortunate reality is that I would say this, if the Grizzlies can speed them up, they play really slow. They're last in pace in the league. If the Grizzlies going to get them out in transition, that's going to be their best kind of format that they need to be able to play. And if they want to win this game. I think that's the easiest kind of like looking at, okay, the Grizzlies love to play fast. They love to take the ball out as quick as possible. And if most of their threes fall, then I think you got a good game. Anything outside of that, I think it's going to be tough.
Yeah, I mean, who's the fastest guy is Kobe White's probably plays the fastest on the squad, right? I'm trying to think, like nobody, they really are a slow team. Like,
yeah, because Lonzo Ball ain't out there running with him anymore. It's got to be Kobe. Yeah. Everybody else, DeRozan, like he's a set shooter now in his career in that mid range, so he ain't running the floor. And
Caruso's not yet.
No, Caruso sure isn't, unless it's getting back on defense.
Yeah.
And that's typically how we play when we've got our dogs in, but all of them are hurt. So I agree, Mark. Just got to get running, man, and get these young pups with some legs and get them up and down the floor.
Yeah.
That will be the only chance to win. Look, guys, I appreciate Rusty joining the show. That's going to be it for us at the Daily Grind. We're going to be back next Monday with a brand new show. Make sure you go check out the 2 Bucks Sports Show. It's going to be premiering today at 3:00 right here on the YouTube channel. So go check that out with Rusty and Drew. It's a good one, I promise. Those guys are great at what they do, which is why we added them to the Bluff City Media family. So we appreciate them. We appreciate you guys listening. We will see you on Monday.